Guten Morgen hier in Heidelberg, good morning hier in Heidelberg, unsere Liedakademie. Es ist Montag, unsere dritte Aussendung. It's our third transmission. We're very glad to have you join us from where you ever are in the world. This is a co-production of the Heidelberg Frühling Festival with the Berlin Boulez-Saal and the Hampson Foundation. And we are very deep in extremely wonderful song repertoire, which I tried to give some sort of overview of from where all this song stuff comes yesterday. If you want to look on the net, that might be good. I'm not going to do that again today. Wir haben sehr viel schöne, lange, ausführliche Lieder und ich schlage vor, dass wir einfach direkt ans Musik gehen. Danke.
Guten Morgen, ich bin Beatriz und zusammen musizieren wir die Phidylé von Henri Duparc mit den Gedichten von Neuland.Lied.
Sole
Okay. Ja. Es ist eine schöne 11 Uhr in der Früh, Lied zu singen, oder? It's a fantastic song to start the day with. It's such a beautiful song. Ladies, first of all, who, and we speak English, who's singing? To whom?
I'm singing to my beloved.
And who's that?
Phidylé.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah, so Phidylé. Phidylé, Phidylou, whatever.
Phidylé.
Yeah, okay. Und was sind die, what are the other, who are you guys? Mythological characters? Pan, Natur, imagination? Does it matter?
Doesn't matter. I think
So it's a love song.
it's a love song. And it's very, for me, very fresh love. They're wildly
Right.
in love and, you know, all this.
So Phidylé is responding to what he hears.
I mean, I'm also responding to Phidylé in a way.
But I mean, are you in his proximity, or are you observing from a distance?
No, we're together.
Okay.
Yes.
And so the repose
Yes,
is lying down together.
Exactly, because as the beginning, you know, it says that the herbs are soft with slumber.
Yeah.
So this is a very, I would say, you know, under a tree at noon, you know, in the shade. And I mean, the slumber is, you know.
Bord des sources that are moist. Right?
Yes, it's this
Qui dans les présents fleurs germant par mi-issu se perdant sous le noir bailli. Right. So all of this natural stuff is happening, and it's becoming your natural bed. You think?
Exactly. Yeah. It's.
Well, maybe not want to get so graphic, but the point is that there's this coming together of the two of you.
Exactly.
Some people would say that they don't ever actually come together. I think it's important. I want to just understand the story you want to tell.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, they do come together in the end, especially.
Okay.
I think in the beginning there is a distance, but there's a very loving and caring, you know, soft tenderness from me to Phidylé.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who are you guys? Are you just a couple of cool people looking for a forest place to have
Yes.
a nice moment?
I would say so.
I'd like to raise this a little bit, the horizon.
Yeah.
I don't think it's without reason that the poem references mythological characters like Anciente and Diana, especially Diana, who's off in the corner sharpening her poisonous bows. It's one of those moments when we don't trust Diana. Mostly we hear about Diana, she's going to fight for love, or she's going to be representation of all the wonderful stuff we want in life. But she's just sort of hanging over, which to me metaphorically means that their relationship is protected from the mythological forces of nature or evil. Or this repose is also a cocoon in which these two think that they're going to live for a while, right? To me, there's something with Phidylé that is very. Have you ever sung Ganymede of Schubert?
No.
Yeah, you will, or Wolf, you're the one. But the figure of Ganymede, this ultimately beautiful, perfect human specimen that the gods just decided was too nice for humans. And so I'm gonna bring him up, and he's gonna be my cupbearer, because something so perfect the humans really just don't deserve. Right? I have that kind of feeling in this as well. So the tenderness with which you speak to Phidylé and the circumstances, I think, have to be really quite magical. Okay. They have to be ethereal. You know that word? You know? Yes. And physically, moving it over to our world for a minute, this is a tremendously athletic song, right? Yes. And if there was ever a song that's about singing on the breath and not with the breath, it would be this one, right? Of course, they're all like that. Practically everything you've sung this week has been like that. What we call jokingly behind the scenes Eierschale. Wir gehen auf Eierschale, oder wir haben eine Handvoll von Eierschale, wenn wir den Ding singen, weil wenn wir darauf hauen, wenn wir darauf singen, dann verliert diese Zauber. Und der Zauber kreieren wir, indem dass der Luft wirklich fast indifferenziert ist im Gesang. Gell? Yeah. Wonderful stuff you're working on. I love to see you working on your voice, and I love to believe that I've had a positive influence on that. I'm not trying to get praise here by any means, but I'm just saying you look better, you sound better, we believe you more. Now let's go to the essence of why we sing. What's the story we're going to tell, right? I think you guys, and we've done this before, two things. One, you're very much too slow because you're trying to be slow. But it sounds slower than it actually is because you're not really following the agogic of the French language or what Mr. Duparc wrote. The melody is all when it comes up, and the first thing is rather just pleasant and harmony and this laying down of the forest lawn. But in the next verse, all of a sudden, when it starts with the 2 against 3, ba da da di da, your melody is in the alto voice, right? C, D flat, D natural, B, right? This melody is what we start to hear. This is the melody, if you will, this is Phidylé's theme, right? Incredibly important, and it motivates the whole going. Every time you say Phidylé right now, you slow up. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
He's not going to come any quicker because you sing softer. Or slower, right?
Yeah.
And if it really is mutual love, you don't need that.
Okay.
You know, he just loves to hear his voice. You know, oh yeah, right? But whatever you want to motivate it with, Beatriz. I just wouldn't slow up. Duparc is extremely clear of what he wants when he wants it. Extremely. We only have, it's just, 20 songs or maybe even less. Yeah. You know, just miracles of French literature. You must sing this for Susan, without question. Be very careful. You know, the very first thing, we want to understand the word l'herbe, but we want to understand the verb est.
Okay.
And if you sing too much l'herbe, then it sounds like you've mispronounced l'herbe.
Okay.
We need to hear l'herbe est molle. L'herbe est molle au sommeil. Right? She'll work with these things. But by the way, Susan Manhoff used to, and I stand up and tell the cameras, this is my last day with the Academy. I have to go off. We've had, as you know, with COVID, so much planning and replanning, and also we are incredibly grateful that we have this Academy and that we are joining the Neuland.Lied festival at the same time. We have usually been in the main festival time. And that may keep going this way. It's quite nice to have a Lied Academy with sunshine and warm. But that's rather secondary. But I wanted to say was that the Lied Academy keeps going, and I have the extraordinary pleasure of inviting Susan Manhoff from Paris, an American who's been in Paris for 40 years, like this American's been in Germany for 40 years. And curiously, we didn't know this, but we studied from the same person, not at the same time, in Southern California and Santa Barbara, so we have very similar roots and very similar passions to the song repertoire. She's an extraordinary pianist, she's an extraordinary coach, and I feel very, very confident leaving you all in her hands. I can tell you that is one of the most difficult things in this wonderful academy that I'm very proud of and grateful to run or organize or be in charge of. I love working with my young colleagues, so giving them over to someone else is sometimes a little bit more difficult. I'm not leaving because of that. I'm leaving because I have a month of performances that just got rescheduled and we couldn't do anything else. And by the time this got scheduled, I could not change it. We're in Prague and we're in whatever. Anyway, it's quite exciting. Anyway, this is my last day. And Susan comes, I think, in Heidelberg tonight, and you start with her tomorrow, which I think will be very fantastic. And you're going to have a wonderful time. And then they have these wonderful singers have some beautiful concerts at the end of the Academy that they've put together, Songs of Life, which is very exciting. So it's going, please keep coming and being part of this. I appreciate it very deeply. This is also a little bit of a melancholy talk for me, because a day for me, because it is the last time I will actually work in this way with these colleagues. This is the end of this year. And it's been a great year. It goes in pieces around. We started in October. We had a big time in January. We have met on Zoom occasionally, but physically this is our last time together. So I'm trying to tie up some things that I really want to have given on, and they can do with them what they will, but I want to make sure that I've gotten my points across. So be careful with slow songs. Find first the syntax of the sentence and the arc of the story. Then determine how you can sing that, right? And then talk about whether it's what lent is, right? I would be more concentrated on calme than lent. Lent, slow, and calm. The most important word is calm. And you establish that, but actually not really, because it's not French what you're doing. And that I can understand that. Duparc gets criticized as very Wagnerian in harmony and structure. But you really have to think long horizontal lines, really long phrases. Everything is in at least 4 bars, if not culminating really in 8 bars. You know, there's such a beautiful hanging tension in this whole line, waiting to get to a cadence. And the cadence is mostly right? And this should not be slower or set up. Don't start underlying things, right? Let's start again. This, when you play this very first 2 notes, I need to hear you going here. Just an example, right? And you think of the la bemol, right? But a la or a la bemol, you're a little bit vertical. It's morning. You got to get that going. But you've got a wonderful space and what to do, okay? It's still too slow. I hear boom, boom, boom. I want to hear da 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 la bemol le mo di o di da da da. It's not just about going faster. All I'm trying to demonstrate to you that it's got line in it. You can also do you know, in that tempo, but it's easier at least to get this grip on the line first. And you have to have line. You have to have length and unraveling of the French language and French repertoire first, whatever tempo it finally comes to. Good, one more time. That's one sentence, right?
Right.
Right? It's got a rest in it. He's very nice. He knows you need to breathe, so he gives it. That's wonderful.
Okay.
But you don't have to rebuild your instrument.
That's true.
You know? You don't have to go get a cup of coffee and come back and do it. It's just one sentence. Pretty simple. Simplement.
Yeah.
Simpler is always more profound. Almost. Are you pedaling?
Yes.
As little as possible. I think as little as possible. I think it's more the weight of your arm. Okay. I think it's more here and here. I think what you want is and rather than this.
Like a kind of an inside piece.
Yeah. Here we go. I want to hear in your voice as much as it looks like as be told what you're talking about.
Okay.
Right? And that's not a bad rule of thumb in a lot of main French repertoire. The French really love to smell thoughts. Germans love to taste words. Right? So somewhere in the middle of that. Okay. And I don't mean to make such crazy distinctions between doing it, but the inherent fragrance of a French song is more in what isn't being described. And we hear that in your singing. This is beautiful. Does that help at all?
Yeah, and so I don't release the keys all the way.
I always have such an amazing feeling of success as a non-pianist to say something that means something to the pianist. That's why I ask. I was like, yes! Now, you're stepping again. Yeah. Ride a magic carpet. There you go. fraises Don't slow her down. Breath. If the story is as you want to tell it, as you've described it, this is your first invitation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That has a difference.
We need to hear that, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is already better, but it's still too much work. It's still too deliberate, right? You need to let it happen. Now you know what you want to do. It needs to come to you rather than go there. And do not be so preoccupied with words declaring to them what you're thinking.
Okay.
They're metaphors of an experience. Bring them to life for you, right? There's still your incredibly charismatic will to express, right, is wonderful. But actually, as a singer, it's for you, right? You don't, and there's nothing to prove to anyone, right, at all, whether they know. We tend to, as singers, come out and stand in front of you and think all of you somehow know better, each one of you, than we do. And if we make a mistake, you're going to go. And the worst thing you can do is come out on stage and try and prove yourself. You come out on stage and create the world that you believe in because that's what you paid a ticket for. You want to hear Phidylé. And you're not actually that concerned with approval. You want to be moved. You want to be in where we're in. And we, because we've got all this strata of correction and so forth, and always stopping and working like we stop, is not a critique. It's a forming. It's like the two of us doing it on the same sculptor wheel, right? And we're just forming this kind of thing. But we carry with us this kind of table of criticism and table of correction and wrong and right and so forth. And in the song world, that just doesn't really work much. It's not very useful at all, right? So when I tell you you're still working too hard, you are still working too hard. It's just not that hard, right? Want to try it one more time? And just stay in you. And when I see you going, the Beatriz Miranda thing shows up and goes, oh, and other people go, wow. And I think, careful. I'd like to just see you, harness all of that fantastic will that you have, right? And by the way, when you do, that's when your real timbre shows up, right? And that's really what they pay for, right? Nobody wants to be told what to think, right? One more time. Are you getting used to me? Is there a voicing in these chords that is interesting?
Yeah.
And where would it be? Once you get steer, there's something in the tenor voice that's going on that seems really, really interesting. Just to kind of give a little bit more interesting, rich harmony, especially when we get into the moist sources of the forest and all that, and the fleur d'armand parmi there's issuing of fragrances in where you are. Where you're about to invite him smells fantastically gorgeous because it's fresh flower. Wonderful. This is the parfum. One more time, please. Please do me a favor, close your eyes or open them, either one. Hear and see the first 4 bars before you play the first one. Literally all 4 bars. Good. tempo. Surprise, wonder. Yeah, and this, you could, if you would just trust that wonderful neutral, it's in the French language as well. The we all think we have to make somehow more beautiful. I happen to think that the of the voice vibrating is one of the most beautiful things we have. But it's not it's because it's the path for all of the vowels. All of the vowels live in that. That's that Strom that goes through the whole vertical line. And at the top, it's what we sing, and at the bottom, it's what we sing. We think the vowels, but they're inside this path. The right? Right? And this is why French. Why I decided that this year we really need to have French in our lessons. As we're about the standard repertoire, but the standard repertoire, the French melody and the German Lied must be. And we have a couple that are doing the American song and so forth. All that's wonderful. It's not about being international, but to sing beautiful French is a lesson in vocalism in itself. Right? Okay, right there. That was actually. Did that bother you, ladies? You're now back to your original tempo, but we believe it.
Yeah.
Now it's got line. Okay, let's do or whatever the pitch is. Started here though, hasn't it? It even gives you those wonderful, you know. This can't be any slower. This is not a Hauptelement. This is not a main theme. This is the theme. It's this. Right? Right? And this is what we need to hear. To me, it feels like you're trying not to rush or to go too slow. I think also the fermata is on the rest. And the repose is actually an eighth note. So it's not repose, it's repose. And how you sing repose tells her to go repose, da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da, right? Yes. Yeah, and you know, this is one of the great pastoral themes. You don't need to play it too much. Dee da, dee da, dee da, 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 is a little too liederartig. Yeah, melody. You want to somehow melodically create this smell of the forest you've just invited him to lay down in. Right? I personally would clear, boom, 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 so that we have a feeling almost of surprise. Boom. And from how she sings the this happened. Right?
Yeah.
Clear. It's exciting. look. What does Duparc write above your line? Because he knew you were going to do what you just did. Don't look! He doesn't just write piano, he writes sempre. Sempre piano. I always am astounded that French composers, especially in the 19th century, use Italian words to describe what they want in French, but never mind. Right? But he says, once this exciting comes, it's more sexual, it's more intimate, it's more exciting if you can just keep all that off. Right? Was this comfortable what you just did? It was really quite beautiful. And this soloistic, again, 3 people on the recital stage. Left hand, right hand singer. Right? Good for you. So let's go back to, oh, here's it, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a very, we need to hear that because it's obviously intentional, but this un peu plus vite is wonderful. We have first ya da 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 ya ba 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 ba. The excitement grows. It's just heartbeat stuff. The first one is an invitation. The second one, she's already there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The first slips off him. Yeah. I'm already in repose, darling. Yeah. Right? That's wonderful. And this is now wonderful because you can feel that it's becoming more of a phrase rather than an element. Good for you. Yeah, and somehow I want to hear that pedal, that the ba-da-da-da rather than ba-da-da-da. I just find that so intentional. It's a bit silly to start there, but I think it's really a handoff. Or whatever that is. Is that a low D? Da. Yes. The back side of the molars, right in front of the ears and vibrating behind the nose, in the head. And the more you lift there, the more things sink here and anchors here, right? You don't think about your breath. This isn't about breath. It's about resonance. This is about what you're doing with the bow. And by the way, I mean, sorry, just to also give the level of detail in Duparc is astounding. And it's intentional. Intentional in the way that classical musical is intentional. In classical music is an intentional use of specific musical elements to create a universe, if you will, a cosmos, an orbit, right? But it's specific. And he uses da 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 da. All these are specific elements that for him is the language of the heartbeat, of the soul of the situation. This is all these rhythmic anomalies are not just curious accompanying, oh, isn't that beautiful? They are, from a composer, literally what's happening either in you or Phidylé. Right? And I rather like this descending and then hearing that D. And what's very, very interesting is that the next thing we hear is, right? Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get a little bit slower, but I'm not even sure. Poco poco radando, but you must come in. You must accompany her, all right? And it's not. Don't make those pickups longer than they are, because they become vocal. It becomes a little bit sentimental. They're really, honest to God, expressions of that. This is stage music. Do da do da do da do da do da do. It's also simpler. Oh, on the offbeat. Oh, Phidylé. Yeah? Okay, top of the page. Wonderful, but if you wouldn't milk it so much and just be simpler about it, then we would actually hear that the melody starts here and not here. All right? One more time. It's still too long.
Okay.
And in that, under you is a very Mahlerian, actually. You know, had Duparc thought about it, he would have written what Mahler said: the soprano stem should go over the top of the voice line, and that's certainly true here, right? And this coming back to tempo primo, the da 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 da. Don't lose the energy of the length of it, right? This is you guys. Up until here has been do, tre, do, piano, variations on intimacy and now, you know, this last of it, they're finally together, right? Now you can let the sun shine, right?
Okay.
But be careful that your forte does not become aggressive.
Okay.
Right? Enjoy. We should hear nothing but joy. This is a cocoon of life that you've built for one another, right? Right now, oh, Phidylé. Release. Yes, release. Up.
Und heute machen wir Shore on the Shining Night von Samuel Barber.
Poet?
Oh, James Agee.
Agee. James Agee. We say Agee. It's American. Of course it's Agee, but we say Agee.
Des Textes.
Good. Thank you. We all have favorite songs. And I don't know whether it's good news or bad news that you've just sung one of mine. I've sung this my whole career. I just adore this song. I adore Samuel Barber, first and foremost. One of the great, without question, greatest of our American composers and song composers. I would like to hit him because he didn't set very many American poets. He was very, very proud of his Irish heritage. He came, by the way, a little bit of trivia for you, might be interested or not. He comes from a very, very musical family. At the turn of the century, there was a very famous contralto named Louise Homer. And Louise Homer, if you look back on old Lebendige Vergangenheit Aufnahmen so with Caruso opera excerpts, if it ever had a mezzo or a contralto in the role, it was probably going to be Louise Homer. And her husband was Sidney Homer. And he was a fantastically prolific songwriter, actually wrote one of the best versions of General Booth Enters into Heaven of anybody. They were Samuel Barber's aunt and uncle. And when Samuel was starting to write songs, he always went to Uncle Sidney, right? And it was Uncle Sidney that saved Dover Beach, because Sam couldn't figure out how to set the whole poem. So he played him what he'd done, and he sang it for Sidney, and Uncle Sidney said, "Sammy, isn't there a bit about the agency in the middle of that poem somewhere?" You know? Yeah, I didn't really know. We'll just make a recitative. So we've got a nice F major recitative section in Dover Beach, right? This is all phenomenally wonderful trivia that has absolutely not a bloody thing to do, other than just having a relationship with your composers and poets. James Agee was a very, very famous playwright in America. He's a rather forgotten master of the middle 20th century. Wrote a limited amount of poetry, but very metaphysical poetry, and that's what this is. And somehow this conversation between James and the counterpoint of Samuel Barber becomes very interesting. What the poem actually means is kind of, exactly, it's out there. It's, all is healed, all is health, high summer holds the earth, I think the most important part of the poem for us is the beginning and the end, right? Kindness must watch for me this side of the ground, because everybody's always kind when you're dead. This side of the ground is living, right? And then when he comes back at the end, the wonder of the stars and the earth, because he's still here. So I love this song because it's very much about, it's a little bit of Ich bin der Welt abhanden gekommen. It's the world we want to live in, and you want to invite people to live in, because it is essentially here. It's that perfect balance of where you are. Sure is this shining night, I weep with wonder. Right? Wonderful. My feeling is that I would just let it go a little bit more. Physically, first of all, what you do, you're wonderfully involved and so forth. There's two physical things that we've talked about, and I just want to sleep better to make sure that you don't forget. One, what you very well do is that when you bend forward, you bend your whole body. Thank you, at least that. Right? Okay. But you do spend a great deal of time this way. And that's probably because there's more breathing room in your back and so forth. And the more you get used to what we've been working on privately in the morning, that you can have all of that and still stay straight, the happier you will be. The thing that irritates me a little bit, irritate meaning not making me angry, but irritates that this is a bad thing, is that you tend to fly. Mm-hmm. This tends to get going a lot.
I think also just
whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever it is, you want to just keep the balance, that atlas joint we talked about back here, and especially this pivot point here, which is really right over the shoulders, right? Now, if you're going to move forward, like you do, at least move it all. Okay. What I don't want you to do is move forward and leave this up. Because that puts a lot of stress here, and that physical stress here shortens your voice. It also is what straightens the tone out. Yeah. When you leave it floating, and it's fantastic to hear what you've been working on this year. I just love it, because when we first worked in the Strauss, it was pretty much Geradtönigkeiten, ne? Schneidend scharf, ne? Und ich glaube, das hat auch, ich habe auch, dass das in dir erweckt hat, eine Liebe zu Ausdruck. Wunderbar. Du kannst alles haben. Aber bei dir, diese athletische Aufmerksamkeit ist schon gut. Ich möchte nicht, ich habe einen Masterclass mit Thomas Hampson gehalten. Das ist nicht der Punkt. Der Punkt ist Anchor, freedom, right? And you want to be down so that you can lift up. Sure on this shining night, I weep for one, right? Yeah. Sure on this shining, right? Good. Those two physical things, I think it feels to me a little bit like you're trying to fit it into 4-bar phrases that actually are rather ingeniously counterpoint mixed up. We're not really quite sure by the time we get here where downbeat is. And I think that's good. I think that's what he was after, right? Sure on this shining night, a star made round us out. One breath would be lovely. Kindness must watch for me, this side the ground. And then this funny anomalous 2-bar. Ba-ti-da. The late here lies down on earth. Just pure generosity. All is healed. All is health. And it's not easy, right? But they all need to live in that world. All is healed. Oh! Yeah. Love the top of your voice with all the vowels in it. That's your house of resonance. Right? One more time. I think, we want to hear the missing beat. We want to hear dum dum da shur. set you up to give you that kind of feeling of what you're doing. It's like playing tag with one another. It's genius. Now do that at 50, which is quite slow. It's a pretty laid back heartbeat. 60 is our heartbeat. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and it's slower than that. Ram dam dam da sure on the shining night I weep for
Okay.
which is long bow.
Yeah.
I still know I'm missing that da, da. I just feel like you're in a little bit of a hurry to get to that, and I just don't think you need to be. Now, just to make it, just do that again and watch yourself in the mirror, and you'll know exactly. It's so utterly subtle, and it's not that it's not about wrong or right. I just want to make sure you really are aware that you're doing that, because all this kind of stuff is, if you don't know that you're doing it, it's not healthy for your singing. If it's what you're doing and you know what, and it's part of your whole column, that's something different. But I think it's looking for some release that is actually here and, there. One more time. That was lovely. Now I've kept you still and it's become less interesting, right? Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I don't want to sing like that. Then don't. Just know that your body, I need you as vertical as possible, right? Okay, one more time. And sing the inside of the song, like you were. More comfortable or less comfortable?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, me either.
I feel a bit restrained, but maybe that's just, I feel restrained in my shoulders.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just kind of...
This isn't about what I guess in all the colleges, in the Liedgestaltung class or whatever, that's not what this is about. I just want to believe that you have in your body the sense of this column of sound.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to limit your physicality. Ganz im Gegenteil. Ich will nur, dass du weißt, was bewegt und warum. Right? I do think that this is a bad idea. I think that this needs to be, and it's not about pushing back, but I'm just exaggerating. I think this, whatever happens, that this happens is not good, vocally. It's also not, isn't, when you make such beautiful sounds, we do things like that, then it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound as beautiful. It sounds out of the choir. But I do feel like I've put you a bit into a box and now you don't have as much fun with the song, and that would be a disaster.
No. I'll try.
Okay. The song is far more important to me than this wiggly piggly niggly stuff that I'm at you at right now. Always. I promise you. Big breath. Kindness much watch for me, this side the ground. Dee-do. I think you can make your life a little easier. He writes più forte, which is not necessarily forte.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not really have to. What I would recommend, two things: that you sing the notes, the whole bar, Don't, you know, so we have the late year lies down the north. All is he, dee, 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 dee. All, da, 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 is hell. High summer holds the earth, right? And that will help you guys not slow it down. If you slow down like that, it becomes, my favorite word, sentimental, right? And it shouldn't. It's metaphysical. There's something you can't really touch about. Can't get in your hands. It is pure metaphor, and that's why it's so gorgeous. And Samuel gives us this world in which these thoughts, and every once in a while a word will go and you know.
Yeah, totally.
I would take one more before.
Yeah, the 2/4 bar before the late year. Yeah, sorry. Make sure that kind of like what we did in the French music, and there's quite a bit of French feeling in this. Exactly, that we never lose sight of the which isn't dum 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 dum. This isn't an den Mond, you know. This is seriously, which is a masterpiece, but this isn't what that is. Hearts all whole. Yeah, I mean, totally, right? So just get through the high summer holds the earth and give us a wonderful H. Hearts all whole.
Yes.
And then the reprise is almost valedictorian. Yes, sure on this shining night I weep for wonder, wandering far alone, of shadows on the stars. Everybody's going, what? Shadows? What? On where? What? What? And that's what it should be. It's like we just suspend. It's 2.5 minutes of suspended time.
Yeah.
The earth stops spinning.
Yeah.
All hearts are whole. Right? Wunderbar. So, right, just keep those phrases going, sing them along like you did, più forte, then come back for the all, and you always want to have all is healed, all is health, and the health grows generously as health is. Right? High summer. We all love high summer. High summer holding the earth, it means it's all blooming and live and green. It's the most gorgeous cosmos universe you can have. All is healed, all is health. High summer holds the earth. All hearts are whole. Yeah? Sure, on this shining night I weep with wonder. Yeah? What do you want to start?
The same place.
I think your life would be easier. We know the text, or we'll get the text, or we don't need a lot of that text. The late year lies down, and just keep it all in that wonderful place you had. The late was wonderful. Just sing everything else now there. The late year lies down the north. Late year lies down the north. That's reportage.
Okay.
Singing is
And I say.
Oh, I'm thinking
Yeah.
I'm singing If I tried to sing in that falsetto in my voice, a pure vowel, it'd go
Yeah. Oh.
love Love your voice.
Love your voice.
Love your voice.
Love your voice.
Love.
Love.
My love.
My love.
Don't move anything. Watch me. My love.
My love. Okay.
Sing the think the we all go home very, very happy. One more time. And you got a lot of in that first late.
Yeah.
The lady. Don't let it fall apart on the. Don't go to the earth.
Yeah.
Stay above there. That was lovely. Well done.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Sing the space, sweetheart. Forget about the words. Be inspired by the words. Sure, on this shining night, sure. This is all Sam cared about. Sure, on this shining night. And you want it to be this shining night or shining night or shining night. You'll find different ways you want to do that, but it's all in that melody. Sure. And keep the lines now 4-bar phrases. And let that wonderful hemiola life come together, right? One more time. Can you do that in one breath? Can you do that in one breath? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. If you think about the sentence, you'll be good.
Yeah.
And don't hang around. Sure, on the shining night. Sure, on the shining night, I weep for wonder. You can do it.
Okay. Yes.
That breath in. Yeah, exactly. Now we get it, okay? It's much more fun. One more time, last verse, and I'll leave you alone. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
From the top? Yeah.
Sure, on this shining night.
Yeah.
Tag already. My name is Yuriy Hadzetskyy, and together with Elitsa Desseva, we would like to perform Belsazar by Schumann.
Actually, there's no E. It's Belsazar.
Belsazar?
I thought I heard Belsazar.
No, Belsazar.
My bad. Excuse me.
Maybe you interpret
Belsazar.
If you wouldn't mumble.
Belsazar.
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 Belsazar auf Deutsch. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Magier kamen, doch keinen Verstand.
seinen Knechten umgebracht.
Good. Wonderful work, Yuriy. Fantastic. Good. The only thing I want to make sure, maybe just sing the first part of the song, and especially when you start getting louder, have a look at yourself. You get a bit red, which means there's a stau going on somewhere, and you kind of figure. I think I know where it is. And we've talked about that. We've worked on that before. We need to be careful because sometimes when you get dramatic, you press together. And if I really leave you with the thoughts we talked about again this morning, this whole anchor thing is so that you're on the air and not with the air, that there's a buoyance in the rib cage, right? You're still a little bit, when you want to sing things like this and you have such an expressive voice and beautiful voice and long voice and all of the good things, right? But it's not really on the air, is it? You know, and so you don't have quite the palette you actually want. The other thing you have to be careful, if the real problem for me, for you as a young baritone, is that, there's even a school called the Stahl technique, because that pressure can give what is translated as an exciting sound. Mm-hmm. I don't find death exciting, but never mind. You know, but the problem is it's one sound. Mm-hmm. It's just one sound. And so when you get louder and more dramatic, whether you're angry or euphoric or excited, it all sounds the same.
Yeah.
And this is what we don't want, right? You have more to offer in your singing imagination than being stopped by your vocalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And I say that and can say that so often and so open in this address because you have made such enormous strides forward in the last 12 months. And I think it's fantastic, and I appreciate very much your trust. So let's just keep on going, right? The first part of the song, this is a wonderful ballad. I mean, this is you have to think that Mr. Löwe was still alive when he wrote this, you know, and he must have just, if he knew it, he must have loved it, or if Schumann was sort of channeling the Löwe thing, which they all were. Löwe was far more important to the middle 19th century, including Wagner, than is given credit, you know. And I think I said once to Luciano Berio, you know, without Löwe, we probably wouldn't have had the Wagner that we had. He almost threw a book at me. He was just, you know, how outrageously ridiculous. I still kind of stand by it, but never mind. That's not the point. But Löwe and Balletvortrag was a tremendous impetus in singing of songs. All the composers of the middle 19th century spent their time crafting Lieder und Gesänge, Lieder, aber Balladen, nicht? Sogar epic. Ne? And this is one of it. It's a big song. It's fantastic. It's all about the story. It's movie music. So every sound you make on the piano is the hall or the people or something going, and the elements that he offers you with syncopation and yet rapidness, and then chordal fundament that keeps moving, they all have some structural meaning to what you're imagining. I can build it for you, but you know, nothing's taken for granted in this song. We have to really take it apart, and because this theme comes back, right? So it must be a place. It must be the allgemeine Bevölkerung. It must be der Abend. The other thing that I think is wonderful in this music is that one immediately, whether you know or don't know the Bible, or recognize, there's a certain sounding arrogance of this palace thing that's going on. People are inebriated, they're in their own world, life is only theirs. Deeply nihilistic. You know what nihilism is? You know, it's all me. Everybody's drunk, sex in every corner, you know, drugs, whatever else. And somewhere in all of this rausch of, he dares to grab one of the most holy articles of their faith. And that's when people get quiet. It's like, oh, even that's gone too far, right? And then this drunken slob stands up and challenges God. And from that moment, it's a different song. There's a oh. And there's a kind of, everybody knows that's wrong, except him. Because that's what ego is. That's Don Giovanni. He goes to heaven and he looks and he says, oh, excuse me, you're sitting in my place. Yeah. Giovanni doesn't believe in a damn thing bigger than himself. Same with Belsazar, right? So we have that. The more we can tighten that coil, the better, right? Can we just look at those two things? Physically, as we change the corner, it gets more dramatic, which was really exciting for us. Have a look just to see that see what you can do in you to get that red out, to get rid of that Stau. And even though it's piano, it's movie music. It's like. Just now, to me, Tamal, you played all three notes of the syncopated chord, and that made more sense to me. Boom cha, right? It was a bit apologetic before. It's like, oh well, I don't really, right? I think all of those sounds are quite intentional. Boom cha cha is very clumsy. Yeah. And that first, just to be a pedant about it, and breathe for the first sentence. Da Mitternacht zog näher schon. Yeah, well, one could have said, it's 11:15, but no, we have to get poetic about it, in stummer Ruhe lag Babylon. There's a rhyme. There's a rhyme. Sing the rhymes.
Des Königs Trost, und oben in den Königssaal Belsazar hinter Königsmahl. Die Knechte saßen im Zimmer.
Don't be angry with the Knechten, they're just Knechte. They're not very important people. But even die Knechte, my God, the whole palace has gone wild, right? Und die Knechte samen im schimmernden Rhein. Jetzt kommt der nächste Reim. Und leerten die Becher mit funkelnden, Bier. Oh, no, Wein. Ja. Es klirrten die Becher, es jauchzten die Knecht. So klang es dem stürigen Könige recht. Ja? Have fun. When I pointed this way, I just said, have a check. When I would do that, I just made you go look in the mirror. It was better. But if you say, die Knechte, you get, die Knechte. Just, it's loud. It's a loud palace orgy. Wherever you want. Good beginning. Dort oben in dem Königssaal Belsazar hielt sein Königsmahl. Die Knechte sahen den Schimmer die Becher mit funkelndem Wein. Es klirrten die Becher, es jauchzten die Knecht, so klang es im störrigen Könige recht. Des Königs Wein. Yeah, and don't stop, even though it's quiet, doesn't mean to fade out. It's Königs Wein, it's Königs Wein. Yeah, stay in it, good, right there. Des Königs Wangen.
Des Königs Wangen leuchten Blut, in Wein was in Töckermut, und
Singen fort und rüset und frei. Keep the line going. Yeah? You'll be happier if you open up that to what it is. Blindungsreis der Mut.
Und blindlings reißt der Mut hinfort, und lässt die Gottheit in sündige Hort, und brüstet sie frech, und lässt wild. Die Knechte starr im Beifall breit.
Okay, now it's a modern voice, I want to keep that up, but go the other way. Think pair.
Yeah.
right? You want all that space. You've got the length of it. You've got ba is the sound you want to make down there because that's the sound of the word. But in fact, the word is not blah, it's brüllt.
Yeah.
Und noch dazu, you can have more fun with this. You know, who's his fan? Die Knechte. Why? That's what Knechte do. You know, make your king happy and there's going to be a lot of trinkgeld flying around, you know, whatever else. And so the people are saying, oh, you're the greatest, you're the most fantastic, are the most useless. No, of course, right? Die Knechte Beifall brüllt, which is fantastically ironic and a little bit of a, you know. Die Knechte in unser Leben immer brüllen, ja. Ja? Wir alle haben Knechte. Es gibt da, ja, careful, right? Und die haben ihm natürlich, ja, wunderbar. Und als du das noch weiter sicher seid, and the more you like this song, then you start, I will really chase some of those really marvelous rhymes, right? So we have the Glut and the Mut, yeah, and the Reis, we can't really get into all that, and fort, und lästert die Gottheit mit sündigem Wort. That's a very big sentence. Brüstet sich, brüstet. Brüstet, das ist eine freche, ist einfach nicht wurscht. Brüstet sich ab. Ja? When you're rude to somebody, der war wahnsinnig brüst zu mir, der hat mich abgebrüstet. War furchtbar. Ich rede nie wieder mit ihm. Nie wieder. Ja? Brüstet. Und das ist der Gottheit gegenüber. Ja? Aber die Knechte finden's toll. Ja, super. Ja? Und die brüllt da unten. Pair and sing the stem. That brüllt needs to just vibrate on the back of your teeth. Right? And not up here. It's not, you want all that sound, but I need that wonderful mixed vowel in the German language, the word brüllt. Yeah? And I think that he's quite intentional that he put it down there. He could have easily put it up an octave. Brüllt! Aber nein, die Knechte, ja, brüllt. Yeah? Want to try that?
Yeah.
Start from der Mut ihn fort und lästert die Gottheit mit sündigem Wort. Oh, wo du willst, mir wurscht. Ja, und blindungsreißt.
Und blindlich reißt der Mut ihn fort und lässt.
What would be great is since we're going to hear musically, dee da 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 dee da da. If you wouldn't sing that, if you just sing the sentence.
Yeah.
Dee da 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 dee boom da dee ba da ba da ba da dee ba da ba. Yeah.
Und blindlich reißt der Mut ihn fort und lästert die Gottheit mit sündigem Wort und brüstet sich frech und lästert wild. Die Knechte schar im Beifall brüllt. Beifall brüllt.
Yeah, I know it's not all the noise you want to make, but it's the Sinn der Sache. It isn't about you. It's about the, you know what I mean? It's about, and he intentionally puts you down there for that reason. Gather all of that, what you want to sing and how you are singing, into that brüllt, and it gives us a very nasty feeling about it, which is good. That's Die Knechte, and that we hear immediately the rhyme to lästert wild. Are you you know when I sing things that are it's like singing the Credo in Iago. You know, it's a very fantastic piece and it's great music and all that. But it's actually, you want to take a shower afterwards. You want to wash your mouth out. You want to, you know, I want to go quietly in the corner and say, you know, no, not really, right? I mean, it's a little bit like Don Giovanni. Don Giovanni, I always felt like I really needed a good shower, a couple of beer, and try and get back to life. Because he's a son of a bitch, and he's not very nice. He's not very nice. He's worthless. You know, it's the most huge ego of an inferiority complex that we have in the human literature, right? It's unbelievable. So so when I say when I have to say things like und lästert die Gottheit, yeah, then you really have to. It has to mean something to you.
Yeah.
Das ist wahnsinnig frech. Das ist impudent. Das ist blasphemy. Yeah. And you don't have to be a Catholic or Protestant or anything else to embrace the notion of blasphemy. But we have to hate those kinds of things. Lästert die Gottheit, so weit gegangen, ja? Und wer? Haha, ja, super! Ja, ist der König, der ist aber, der kann was, ne? That's what this sentence is all about, right? One more time and I'll leave you alone.
Und blindlich rauscht der Mut hinfort und lästert die Gottheit mit fröhlicher Art und entrüstet sie frech und lässt entwelt. Und die Idiots! Die Götter Schall im Beifall brüllt.
Yeah, sorry.
Die König mit
Yeah, maybe I distracted you. I distracted you with my compliment. Sorry. Yeah. Beifall brüllt, brüllt. Der König rief mit stolzem Blick, der wieder eilt und kehrt zurück. Trug viel gülden Gerät auf dem Haupt, das war aus dem Tempel Jehovas geraubt, und der König ergriff. I think that's a wonderful legato and better sung when you're not turning red. Now these words mean to mean something. This is really spooky stuff, you know. The servant came back, trug viel güldene Geräte auf dem Haupt, das war aus dem Tempel Jehovas geraubt. Das weckt in uns Unheimlichkeit. Was? Und der König ergriff mit freveler Hand die heiligen Becher. Boah, wie die Knechte, die Beifall nicht mehr. Das ja? Wenn irgendeiner von denen denkt und sagt zu dem anderen, das wird ja gar nicht gut ausgehen. Ja? Gut, weiter. Uncha! Uncha! Der König rief mit stolzem Blick,
der Diener eilt und kehrt zurück.
was tut er?
Er trug viel gülden Gerät auf dem Haupt,
What?
das war aus dem Tempel Jehovas geraubt, und der König ergriff mit frevler Hand einen heiligen Becher gefüllt bis am Rand, und er lehnte ihr hastig bis auf den Grund, und rot fällt laut mit schäumendem Mund.
Ich sag genau wie du schnarrst, ja, das müssen wir in das Wort schäumende Mund. Der ist außer sich, der ist besoffen und der ist einmal Ego, er wird von seiner Innerlei einmal gefressen, er ist auch weich und hat dieser Becher, ja, Jehova, lieber Gott, komm mal runter! Ja, diese Arrogance ist unbelievable, aber dieser schäumende Mund, das müssen wir haben. Wunderbare deutsche Wort, fantastisch. Ja, super, wunderbar. Weiter, wo kannst du mal? Lehrt ihn haftig bis unter Grund und rufet laut. In retardando, take your time. Rufet laut mit schäumender Mund. Und dann spricht du er.
Okay.
Und dieser Retardant bleibt. Es ist typisch Schumann, ja? Jehova, dir könnt ich auf ewige Hohn, ich, and that's the highest note,
Yes.
bin der König. Und dann kommst du genau in die Gegend von den brüllenden Idiotenknechte. Babylon. Ich bin der König. Vollkommen wurscht von wo. Ich bin es. Du nicht mehr. Ich habe dich ersetzt. Danke, du kannst gehen. Oh ja, ich behalte all die schönen, ganz wertvolle Sachen. Ja, danke. You can do it. Wherever you want. It's a magnificent piece of music. Yeah, wherever you want to go.
Und lehrt ihn hastig bis auf den Grund und rufet laut mit schäumendem Mund.
Schäumendem. Ja, genau. Right there. Und rufet laut mit schäumendem Mund.
Und rufet laut mit schäumendem Mund. endlich auf ewig schon. Ich bin der König von
this piano ist selbstängstlich. Ja? Das ist ein Wahnsinnsgeschehen. Ja? Und der Piano ist richtig, aber das muss ihr könnt es mir nicht glauben, wie das eigentlich war. Ja? Da kaum das große. Ja, wunderbar. Ich glaube, dieser allererste Scherzando nach Babylon, schön, dass diese lange Linie und auch diese, da kannst du haben. Babylon. This Scherzando is unique in the whole song. That one should just scare the shit out of us. Und ja, jetzt ist der Welt ganz anders geworden. Und der hat recht, es geht sich gar nicht gut aus. Und die Knechte schleichen langsam Schritt für Schritt zurück mit ihren Bier im Hand und denken, ich möchte eigentlich, wenn es drauf ankommt, nicht unbedingt in seinen Ball sein. Ja, gut. König, ich bin der
Ich bin der König von Babylon.
And it would be nice, with all that wonderful color and all that, because it would be nice if we had Lohn. Babylon. Babylon ist es, nicht Babylon. Babylon. Right? Ich bin der.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
You're a baritone. Don't take your shoes up there. Good for you.
Ich bin der König von Babylon. Doch kaum das grause Wort verklang, dem König als heimlich im Busenbang.
Ja, wunderbar, wunderbar. Heimlich im Busenbang. Really, let us have those B's. Heimlich im Busenbang. Ja, that tells us that hat einen Schiss. Ja? And dieser, this tells us that something really awful is about to happen. Right? Gut, wunderbar. Anyway, kaum das grause Wort verklang.
Doch kaum das grause Wort verklang, dem König flitzt heimlich im Busenband.
Ja, bip, bop, 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 bop. I say, just look at those three bars. We don't want to take a whole bunch of time here. You have a forte going up, and the top of the phrase actually is not the accent. Is something bigger in the expression. It's a string section, and then the horns come in with ba, not yet, oh shit, whatever it is, right? Jump bum bong.
Das gellende Lachen verstummte zumal, es wurde leichenstill im Saal, und sie an weißer Wand, da kam's hervor wie Menschenhand, und schrieb an weißer Wand, Buchstaben von
Buchstaben. Buchstaben. Look, all that is, I get totally what you're after. It's the lower part of the voice as well, but let the ricolgere on the lips and the back of the teeth and the birne and the stem. We're going to 115. We got it. Okay? Go.
Buchstaben von Feuer und Schrieb und schwand. Der König Stirnblix da saß, mit schlotternden Knien und totenblass. Die Knechte schals das kalt durchgraut und saß gar still, gab keinen Laut.
Sing the rhyme.
Die Magier kamen, doch keiner verstand zu deuten die Flammenschrift an der Wand. Belsazar ward aber in selbiger Nacht von seinen Knechten umgebracht.
I think it's a little bit scarier than that. I love the sound, I love the singing of it, but it sounds a little harmless. Right? Ward aber in selbiger Nacht, der ihn von seinem Knecht umgebracht. Right? Meine Damen und Herren, ist eine Levite da. Oh je, oh je. Ja? Wunderbar. An der Wand, Belsazar. Übrigens, die ganze Stelle, von wo du kommst und der König ist, Piano.
Ja.
Ist alles unheimlich. Belsazar ward an der... right on the stem of the parrot.
Belsazar ward aber in selbiger Nacht von seinem Knechten umgebracht.
Bravo. Super. Wir bleiben hier bis zum 1:15 Uhr. Danke.
Guten Tag, mein Name ist Ekaterina Chayka-Rubinstein und ich werde heute zusammen mit Rebeka ein Lied aus den Kindertotenlieder von Gustav Mahler Ihnen vorsingen. Wenn dein Mütterlein tritt zur Tür herein.
Good, good. I forgot to cancel lunch. Deutsch oder Englisch? Deutsch, oder? Wunderbar. Sehr bewegend, oder? Rührend. Horrible Geschichte. Furchtbar. Du musst es öfter singen. Kühlkopf, warmer Herz. Ja? Und deine wunderbare Wille und Instinkt zum Ausdruck ist charismatisch und schön, die Stimme bei Gott ist schön und alles, aber du pflanzt es sehr viel, du biegst es so wahnsinnig viel an, dass es macht man eigentlich ein bisschen nervös. Ja? Und wir sind abgelenkt eigentlich von der Geschichte, was eine horrible Geschichte ist. Du kennst doch die Geschichte, 425 Lieder von Rückert, das er niemals veröffentlicht wollte, ist gestorben, ist es posthum mal oder alles, ne? Seine Kinder sind gestorben, ja, furchtbar. Ne? Und diese Ansicht, ob es von Vaterperspektive oder Mutterperspektive ist egal. In Mitte dieser Zyklus, irgendwie hängt diese Threnody, diese Trauermusik über den Haus herüber. Und sie und er gehen einfach ahnungslos herum in dem Bademantel um Mitternachmittag noch und den Hausslippers und shuffle. Ja? Und im Herzen, ja, da, die, da, und wo immer die schauen, die sehen die Kleinen. Ich meine, die waren schon alt, die waren schon 6, 7, 8 Jahre alt. Ne? Man ist gewohnt auf ein Kind, was dahin, um Gottes Willen. Ne? Egal, wo sie schaut, es kommt einfach nicht mehr, das gibt es ja gar nicht. Und sein Ringen ist nicht mit seiner Trauer, ist ein bisschen enger. Es ist zu schnell. Es ist ungerecht. Verdammt nochmal, dieser menschliche Schicksalsscheiß. Wenn dein Mütterlein. Ich weiß, Kindchen, wie du deine Mutter so geliebt hast. Die Mütterlein ist in Sprache von den Kindern die Mutter gegenüber. Wenn dein Mütterlein bis zum Tür hinein. Ja? Er begleitet die Kinder. Die ganzen Aussagen sind eigentlich von der Kinderseite, gell? Nicht von der Vater oder der Mutter. Ja? Und das finde ich. Noch dazu, wenn du singst, das heißt ein bisschen flotter, nicht? Was sagt der? Ein bisschen fließender? Fließender. Und das heißt, dass die Narrativ simpler ist. Wenn dein Mütterlein. Du siehst es mehr, als du erzählst davon. Diese Lieder, alle Lieder, die Kindertotenlieder dürfen nicht vorgetragen. Die dürfen gehört werden. Verstehst du, was ich meine? Verstehst du den Unterschied, was ich meine damit? Ja, wunderbar. Gut, fangen wir noch einmal an, bitte. Und bitte, der linke Hand ist wichtiger, als du denkst. Es ist nicht nur eine Begleitharmonie, es sind tatsächlich die Fußschritte. Und die gehen einfach, die sind deprimiert. Was heißt deprimiert? Die sind am Boden. Ne? Sie können da gerade anziehen und die gehen einfach so herum. Ne? Und dann steht er und dann sieht er, wenn dein Mütterlein, mit wem spricht er? Was heißt dein Mütterlein? Wenn dein, von den Kindern. Und er redet mit dem Kind den ganzen Tag, er hat wieder nicht geschlafen. Ja? Er geht rein, ich muss einen Kaffee machen. Wenn dein Mütterlein bis zur Tür hinein. Ja, er geht jeden Morgen. Und die Kinder haben so gefreut, den Papi den Kaffee sehen machen lassen. Ja? Und ich sage, Mama, guten Morgen, ja, das ist alles weg. Gut, es gab anderen Kinder, aber die zwei waren weg. Und er geht einfach in seine Habitüt durch das Haus und egal wo er schaut, sind die Kinder wieder da und er redet mit denen. Ja? So, du kannst ruhig und du darfst das nicht emotionell vertragen. Du musst es einfach glauben und sing die Musik von Mahler, weil der hat das absolut perfekt komponiert. Und diese Trauermusik, das ist das schleppende Steppe und alles und dann erzählst du davon. Wenn du denkst laut und wir hören mit. Right? Und den Kopf ich drehe, dir entgegen sehe, während ich meinen Kaffee mache. Guten Morgen, Schalto. Ja, du bist nicht mehr da. Right? Du siehst und erlebst mehr, als du erzählst. Right? Können wir ein bisschen hier anfangen? Nur das in das Gefühl kommen? I think that's what this pizzicato hat nicht mit Kürze oder Lange zu tun. Es hat mit dem Charakter zu tun. Mit dem Orchester ist noch einfach, aber der Mahler hat mehr diese Zyklus geschrieben oder gespielt auf dem Klavier in seiner Lebzeit als mit Orchester. Die Orchester und die Klavierfassung von Kant, die erste Ausgabe, ist die gültige Ausgabe. Ich weiß nicht, was das ist, aber das ist nicht Kant. Was noch immer. Gut. Da, da, da. I liked your tempo, but now just look at the agogic. Legato. And then right? So legato, legato. I can't play over the top of your head, sorry. No. Di da da di da di. Yeah, that's too apologetic. In the Küche. And this has to sound completely different than this. Di da di da 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 di da di da. This is a kind of Schrei. This is a kind of innerliche, I can't accept this. I can't believe this. What this motive is. Da di da 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 da. Wenn dein Mütterlein käm zu dir. As simple 4-talk as you can, right? One more time, the 2 measures. Exactly, and there's no writ here, but there's a new tempo here, more than musically. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead, sorry. Yep, but lift here, give her a chance, because you guys are going to start again. Fließender. It should be a new tempo.
Okay.
So if you want to go that tempo, you want to go that slow, which I'd be very careful. You really want to sing 4-bar phrases, right? And you want to sing these sentences. Wenn dein Mütterlein tritt zur Tür herein, in einem durch. Ne? Then establish that tempo, and then she plays something slower to begin with. Right, I mean? Right? And I literally mean stop the sound. Bom, 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 bom. Okay? One more time. See it. Back to the pain.
Und den Kopf ich drehe entgegensehe.
Just sing that for me and look in the mirror with me. Wenn dein Mütterlein tritt zur Tür herein. Play the bit of it. Stay right there with the next bit. Now, why do you suppose us listening in the mirror, you didn't move your head or try? Why?
Because I'm looking at you.
And I don't move my head.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know that's why I wanted you to do that. But why do you think you move your head?
Ja, wegen diesen ganzen Verspannungen und so.
Ja, I think so. Ich glaube, du suchst, zuerst einmal, du suchst, was du glaubst, nicht vorhanden ist. Verstehst du? Und ich möchte sagen, es ist vorhanden. Vertraue es. Ja? Das ist nicht ein Lied, der einfach da, es ist tief und es ist tiefer ein Grund. Es ist eine absolute Absicht von der Herr Meister. Ne? Weil es ist ein ganz einfacher Vortrag. Er denkt nach. Er hört laut, ja, und wir hören das auch mit, right? Especially, und den Kopf ich drehe, ihr entgegensehe. There's a kind of in this, right? And this tension that you have is because you don't think you're getting enough sound on those vowels. And that's nonsense. That's just a waste of energy. Right? I mean, the other things you do in the Ausdruck, this head stuff is you wanting to be expressive. And all I can tell you is it's less expressive. You are so expressive, and you have such a beautiful voice, and you're such a wonderful singer, and I mean that really from my heart. You were one of the first people in the first day that 40 people came through. You opened your mouth, and I put a check mark. Okay? Build on that. Right? It's not something you do, it's something you go. You're also very young, which is wonderful. You're enormously talented. You're more talented musically than you are mentally, physically mature, which sounds like a horrible criticism. I just mean, this is the time of your life to start phasing those things together. Your will to sing this is reifer, als du kannst. Da musst du aufpassen, weil das würde dich dann verleiten in das Ganze. Wir haben das schon angesprochen. Das ist eine ganz direkte, harte Botschaft, Sänger zu Sänger. Ich weiß das. Und auch in einem öffentlichen Raum noch dazu. Aber ich würde es nicht machen, wenn ich nicht wusste, dass du das annimmst. Oder? Gut, wunderbar. Können wir weitergehen? Exactly. It's all here. And use your voice to let the words and the meaning of the words be hearable. It's not about how beautiful you can sing it. You've got that. Perfect. Fällt auf ihr Gesicht erst der Blick mir nicht, sondern auf die Stelle, wo ihr sein sollt. Und er redet immer noch mit denen. Das ist verrückt. Right? Fällt auf ihr. Fällt auf ihr Gesicht erst der Blick mir nicht. One cheek. Makes me happier. I'm not trying to take away you guys' expression. I'm not trying to put you into a box that, what he wants from sound, I can't sing like that. I get all of that. I want you to use this singing way to give me all that stuff that you believe out, and that's an incredible outbreak, right? Sondern auf die Stelle, wo würde dein Lied gesichten, and breathe as often as you want in the syntax of the sentence. Yeah, that's right. You see what I mean? I'm not trying to limit you. No. I'm trying to show you a better path where all of that stuff that you are is healthier. One more time that section before sondern auf die Stelle. Da da di da di da da di da da. Sondern auf die Stelle. Exactly. Sing there. Yeah, does this feel vocally better? Then you need to find you in this vocalism, that's all. And you will, it's wonderful. But this is a much healthier vocal path, right? Now let's just look at these breath marks, because I think dort würde dein Liebgesicht wunderbar, wenn du Freuden. If you can make it all the way through here, it's quite wonderful. Wenn du, for the first time, Freudenhelle trätest mit herein. Even if you don't, you can take a little breath here. Wenn du, because we really need the Freudenhelle. Wenn du Freudenhelle trätest mit herein, trätest mit herein, wie sonst meinte. Right? Okay. This is one alternative. If it's more easy, you can figure out all sorts of ways here. Or you can take a breath. If you take all these breaths, that's also fine. Wenn du Freudenhelle trätest mit herein, trätest mit herein. I really would, what doesn't sound right to me is wenn du Freudenhelle trätest mit herein, trätest mit herein. That just sounds kind of like a musical invention to me. It doesn't sound like his emotion at that point. I think this breath is the most important one. And whether you go from here all the way through there, Mazel Tov, I don't think I can. I rather like this wie sonst. I like breathing, and actually this is parenthetical. Wenn du Freudenhelle trätest mit herein, wie sonst mein Töchterlein. Right? Okay. But don't get, you need to work this out for yourself. Don't get crazy about not having enough breath. You can breathe each one of these paces with meaning, right? right? But go with the story. This is quite wonderful. Everything you do vocally up here is your Rosetta Stone for the rest of your voice. You're long, you're tall, the resonance is round and all vertical, right? That should be all the way even down to Wenn dein Mütterlein tritt zur Tür herein, du des Vaters da. Right? Right, where do you want to go? You want to do that one more time, or you want to go on? Let's go on. Let's go on.
Okay.
Because we got another guy, right? In fact, since we got time issues, can we have 2 measures before Wenn, dein, Mütterlein? Zweiten Mal? Funk, 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 Comma. Okay, my bad. Yeah, you can do that. My bad. I do that. You're right. Absolutely right. My bad. Mit der Kerze.
Mit der Kerze schimmer ist es mir als
Just what you did right there. I don't want to take away your will to be expressive, but I'm just saying that if you get in there and you get sentimental about it, meaning you actually you can't give your body away.
Okay.
You just don't want to do that. You want to carry all that inside of you, right? And you're telling a story. We do that, right? But if you whatever it is that you do, you just don't want to do that. It's just not. It's not going to help what you're doing vocally. We have to sing it. It'd be like a clarinetist. It's so expressive. He's only going to do it with one hand. All right, here we go. Mit der Kerze schimmer ist es mir, als immer. The payoff there is because you can schleunigen. Immer kämst du. I got it. Wonderful. Mit der Kerze.
Mit der Kerze schimmer ist es mir, als immer kämst du.
Just sing everything in that place where you got to be. Oh, just stay in there. You'll be fine. Oh, by the way, you can breathe as well. Oh, du des Vaters up the back, molars over the top, anchor in the bottom. Everybody goes happy. Wee. It's one of those moments, not one of these moments, right? Yeah, wherever, yeah. Which I don't like that word, but I would be careful of this sound because it sounds angry.
Okay.
And der Freudenschein, die Schicksal hat es weggenommen. Euer Freudenschein wird der Welt nicht mehr haben. Wie kannst du sowas erlauben? Es ist die ewige Frage im menschlichen Leben. Warum sterben eigentlich? Kinder und junge Leute. Ach, so schnell. This one I would really take your breath. Ach, so schnell. Breathe. So schnell erloschner Freudenschein. Und der schönste Blick in der Welt. Erloschner Freuden. This whole cycle is a search for relief to grief. It's a search to believe in the Sinn des Lebens. Es ist ein Suchen, das sinnvoll aus das Horribelste zu finden. Ja? Und er kommt beinahe dazu, aber eigentlich nicht. Ja? Und aber der nächste Lied, ja. Und diese Auswahl von diesen 5 Lieder von Kindertotenlieder, von all dem, das der Mahler hätte genommen können, auch in dieser Reihenfolge, ist von einer äußerst prägnanten Bedeutung. Es ist die einzige Zyklus, die er geschrieben hat. Es ist nicht ein Nachruf für gestorbene Kinder. Es ist ein Requiem für uns, die noch leben. Und das ist die Hoffnung. Ja? Wunderschön. So die ganze Emotionalität und Trauer, Vorsicht, geh durch. Biete immer den Durchreise in diese Dunkelheit. Ja? Einmal noch. Ah, du. Von 8 zu schnell und denk positiv, Katrīna. Sei glücklich, sei positiv, sei hoffnungsvoll. 8 zu schnell, erloschener Freudenschein. Es ist ja auch irgendwie ein Trost da drin, das zu glauben, dass obwohl sie zu früh gestorben sind, sie sind heilig und mit einer seelischen Freudenschein. Alles, was gut im Leben ist leider von uns weggenommen und auch von ihr überhaupt ihr Lebens gestoppt. Aber das war schon verdammt schön da. Die Freudenschein, die Wahrheit, die Schönheit von der Keim des Lebens. Kurz und falsch weggenommen, aber es war.
Ach, zu schnell, zu schnell erloschner Freudenschein, erloschner Freudenschein.
Indifferent. Schicksal. Die Sonne kommt morgen auf, ob der Tragödie verfallen ist oder nicht. Das ist beinahe ein exakt Zitat von Schumann, Stirb, Lieb und Freud. Ja? Es ist das. Ja? Wunderbar. Wunderbar, damit wir sind zu Ende, damit bin ich auch einmal weg. Ich möchte mich bedanken, immer für die Unterstützung und Freundlichkeit und Liebe zu unserer Academy. Wir setzen fort, das ist, was wir jetzt machen, ein Business-Meeting, wie wir das alles weiter arrangieren können. Es tut mir sicherlich mehr weh, wegzugehen, als dass ich weggehe. Es macht doch nichts und ich wünsche wirklich eine herrliche Zeit mit Susan Manoff und einer weiteren Academy und ein weiteres Leben. Hoffentlich sehen wir einander zumindest per Zoom. Ein paar von euch sehe euer heute Nachmittag, das werden wir schon machen. Aber toll. Have a great day. Thank you for staying on. Bye.